Good evening, and welcome to this meeting of the Old Kings Highway Committee of the Town of Yarmouth, which is being held in accordance with Chapter 470 of the Acts of 1973 as amended at 7:17 p.m. on Monday, June 12th, 2023. My birthday, by the way. Thank you all.
Oh, happy birthday, Bob.
Yes, it is.
Happy birthday to...
That's okay.
Oh, man, that was the worst gift we could have given him.
To continue, Monday, June 12th, 2013, at the Yarmouth Town Hall Hearing Room located at 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth. Moreover, pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, considering certain COVID-19 measures, this meeting is being run in hybrid mode, which means live participation, Zoom participation. There may be some telephone participation as well. 9 applications for certificate of appropriateness and 1 tabled certificate of appropriateness will be heard this evening in the order listed on the agenda. So I will interject and say that this is, we're going to hear the tabled application first at the request of the applicant. That's a deviation from our ordinary process, but I'm sure none of you will mind. Please be reminded that our committee's main purpose is to review items for appropriateness and setting, and it is the responsibility of the applicant to comply with the regulations of other town boards and departments, including building, conservation, engineering, health, zoning, and the sign inspector. You should know that there is a 10 calendar day appeal period starting once a decision is filed with the town clerk. Any person aggrieved by our decision tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway Historic District. Our office administrator, Lisa Sherman, will be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this process. So our procedure is to allow the applicant or the applicant's representative to present the application without interruption from the committee or members of the public. Then the committee will be free to ask questions, make observations, and then the public will be free to also ask questions and/or make observations. And that can come from abutters or any other interested members of the public. So, starting out with the tabled application, and this is item 23-A056. It's to construct a new raised roof and windows as part of a renovation at 48 Mill Lane. Vin and Heather Miles are the owners. Kevin McKenzie Betty is the agent. I believe we have Vin here this evening. Okay. And we need to untable this application.
Mackenzie Betty. Keith, not Kevin.
Keith. Apologies. Okay, so do I hear a motion to untable?
I move to untable application number 23-A056.
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And aye. So, come to the table and present your application.
You were having printing problems, huh? I was. Oh, we so sympathize.
The curse of the architect.
Indeed. Do we not have them in our package?
You do. You
Okay.
have them electronically, just what I'm
We have printouts of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good. I'm in a show and the director says, we're going to make a change, and the cast goes, change is good, which is a new thing.
Have you all got this?
I believe we do.
You do.
You do?
So, we are as is. This is what we're talking about, this piece of roof right here. And previously, it went straight on. And so you said, don't do it again. And so we have. We've done exactly what you said.
Look at that.
We've stepped it, and it goes across. And so you also asked us to do some 3D models.
We have these as well. And thank you. It was very helpful to see those.
So we've got those. You do have the break in the roof that you're asking for. And the other thing we should point out
Any comments or questions from the committee?
I think this is a marked improvement. Thank you for the 3D massing model. It helps enormously. And I think you've, in my opinion, mitigated the tail wagging the dog problem here completely and thoroughly, 100%.
Agreed.
I just have one question. So the new design, and I agree with the vice chairman wholeheartedly, does this impact the chimney, the one further away from Mill Lane?
Not at all. Currently, the chimney is embraced by a sloping roof. It's going to be embraced by a pitch roof.
Right. So the peak of this section between the addition and the primary house will not actually impact the chimney?
Not at all.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee? Any questions from the public or abutters, other interested members of the public? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
May I? I move to approve this revised application.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
You
if
got everything you wanted in plan, though, right? There were no revisions to the plan. Perfect.
All right,
So
if
you
you,
have
if you would just come up and sign this, all this says is that if you're going to make any changes, you'll notify us in advance. And owner contractor, right there.
It's a win-win.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck. Thank you again for doing the model.
Yes. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Good night.
Sir?
The next item on the agenda is 23-A068. It's to construct a shed.
6-9.
Sorry?
I think it's 6-9. Oh, beg your pardon. We had the tabled item. You're quite right.
It's to construct a shed at 2 Cottonwood Street. Anthony Doldo and Rihanna Pileggi? Okay, are the owners. AD Builders are the agents, and I believe we have Anthony and Rosanna here this evening.
Why?
So tell us about your shed.
So we'd like to construct a 12 by 16 shed for the right side of the house. We have a couple of problems. Well, one main problem is when we purchased the house, they put a septic system in to the right of the fence for the pool. And according to your guidelines, we can't protrude beyond the back wall of the house, and that's where the septic system is. So we've got two options. One would be to pull it forward, closer to the front of the house, or the other option, which I really don't take too much kindly to, is I'd have to put it in the woods and cut trees down. So I'm looking to see if I can pull it forward, just beyond the system.
If we make it really, really nice.
Well, it's gonna,
Shall I
you'll
jump
find
in?
the pages there.
Say,
So they're talking about placement,
yeah.
Placement.
Yeah.
and I don't think that's our purview.
No, we're not, the location of the septic system has nothing to do
Or
with
the
us.
shed.
Right.
No location issues with us.
No location issue, so I could pull it forward?
Well, no, you need to go this is your first stop.
Yeah.
But we don't, should I continue? I don't mean to steal anyone's.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We don't, that's not our review. We're visual historic, the view from public ways. So, but they send you to us first, then you go back to planning with our approval for your design.
Okay.
And if you have the issue that you're talking about, that's going to be planning and the building commissioner.
Okay.
So, we're your first stop at you, and they're going to, yeah, so you're on the right path. You're going to have to ask for some leniency perhaps. We don't know. That's not our purview at all.
Okay. So I guess, I have,
But we're just looking at the design, and for instance, if you want to tell us about what you're, I know you're building it, so tell us what you're building.
so it's 12 by 16. It's gonna have a garage door in the front. It's gonna be a barn door. Pretty simple design.
Is this representative of what you're talking about, or is this
Yes,
just,
that's it.
is this it?
This is it, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Good enough.
Pretty good to me.
Basically what is pretty straightforward.
I can jump in and say, no?
Is there a window on the other end as well?
Yes, on the backside, yep.
Any other questions or comments from the committee?
Yes, I know it's T111 siding, and usually that's not acceptable. However, it's not, I don't find T111 objectionable, and it's all over my neighborhood. So,
Ours as well.
yeah, so I would raise it as something that I know causes agita.
I don't have any issues with this.
Our house is vinyl sided on the front and the two gable sides. I mean, I could vinyl side if I had to, but I'd rather not.
Yeah, I hear you.
111.
Are you open to an alternative siding?
Yeah, make a suggestion.
Sure.
Okay, that makes our lives easier. Board and batten is what we're talking about, essentially?
Not a big fan of it.
Perhaps, cedar shingles, perhaps.
Yeah,
Cedar
well,
sh-
I
cedar
don't object to
shakes.
the board and batten particularly.
I like board and batten. I don't like to-
We're talking about the materials,
I
and,
just like about the texture 111 is that because it's in a 4x8 panel, you don't see it on the drawing, but because it goes to 12 feet high, there will be a horizontal seam with flashing where it breaks.
Right.
And that's where it looks, not ideal. So that'll happen on the side elevations. You won't see it in the front.
We won't, hopefully we wouldn't see the side elevations if that makes it any more,
so we could talk about cedar board and batten on the front, and the T11 on the sides.
Well, the T11 on the side is where you'd see the,
Right, but is it visible from the street?
you come around from if it is going to be on the front side of the house, you will see it as you come around the corner. You'll look right at the side of it, if it is in that position.
That's if they allow me to pull it forward. If it's in the woods, you won't see
Yeah,
either side. Because one side will be facing the neighbor's woods and the other side will be facing my fence for the pool.
Yeah.
You just see the front, basically, if they put it way
how
back.
many trees are we talking about cutting?
3 good-sized trees.
Yeah, and that's going to affect your privacy.
Yeah, yeah. Because I got tree line on the right side of my pool and the back side of the pool, which kind of hides the neighbor to the back, and also this one diagonal from me. The neighbor to the right, I'm gonna see no matter what. I'd rather not take them down. Kind of keeps the backyard somewhat cool until about noon time, 1 o'clock.
So I guess our decision is whether we're comfortable with the shed in either location. Looking ahead to a problem with the septic, and you're running into a snag there.
Yeah.
Are we,
The other side of the house, I have an easement. On the left side of the fence, I have an easement, town easement. I can't put it there. and my backyard's nothing but concrete and pool. So I'm really limited. It's gotta be the right side. Kind of closer to the front, and according to your guidelines, you're not supposed to pull it beyond the back wall of the house, which, that's right where the septic
Would it
is.
be, would it still be behind the front wall of the house? The front face of the,
Probably be in line with the front of the
Line.
house.
I'm thinking, yeah, so I don't, from Myrtle Lane, you wouldn't see a side. Cottonwood, you're gonna see,
You'll see, as you drive by, you'd see this side. The other side you won't see, well, you will see coming down, but I've got the cedar fence on the right side.
I might not have this one.
so
Limited.
if you were to pull it forward so that it's not further forward than the front facade of the house,
I could get away
you
with
were,
it there.
you were to substitute cedar board and batten for the T11. That satisfy you?
Do cedar impressions, because I'm not a big fan of the board and batten.
Okay, all right.
Cedar impressions is obviously a lot nicer than that.
What
Looks-
is Cedar
It
Impressions?
looks like cedar shakes, but it's vinyl,
Oh,
certain seed product.
I don't care for that. Say, it doesn't look convincing to me at all.
is it okay on a shed, though?
I prefer T111 to it.
Okay.
I don't think it looks very convincing. But maybe you all want to see it. I wouldn't take my word for it only.
I think,
Did you just say earlier that you would side it like your house? If,
Well, my house is 333. It's old school. I
So
mean,
one day we want to take that down and do the fake.
okay,
Cedar
okay, that's
shakes.
what I just wanted, okay.
So we want it to
vinyl on-
match.
I have vinyl on three sides of the house, front, left, and right. In the back, I get shakes, which you don't see.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the cedar shakes. They get weathered, they just don't last. They get beat up and they start to curl. I'm not a big fan of them. And not to mention how much they cost.
Well, that's true. The cost is a
Outrageous.
factor. You can dip them, and that will
Yeah, I can
extend the
put 'em in
longevity.
linseed oil, but still, I'm not a big fan of them.
go ahead.
I was just going to say,
What's to do board and batten, and I guess I'd have to do that.
We just need storage for his crap. So the yard looks nice. That's what we're trying to do, keep the
know you are.
neighborhood beautiful.
I
That's what we're trying to
I
do.
hear you. I believe you. Are there any comments from the public or other interested members, abutters? Any abutters here? So, how do we feel?
I'm okay with their plan,
Me too.
The T11?
yeah.
In the location where it's
Yeah.
not going to stand proud of the house?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I guess,
Oh, you want a motion?
yes, I guess so.
Yes, okay, so I move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
All right, so good luck with the other town committees, and if you're going to change your minds, let us know.
So again, the placement is something that you need to get now. And so just be sure on that.
All right? You're good.
Good. Do I get a sign too? No?
Nope, you don't have to. Let the boss sign.
You're welcome.
The next item on the agenda is 23-A069 to replace windows at 25 Helsman Drive. Kate Turcott is the owner, Dennis Olov, Bell Cape Construction is the agent, and who do we have this evening?
Hello, good evening. I'm Katie Turco, and this is Dennis.
Hi.
So, I own the home at 25 Helmsman. I'm a single woman, so I am not handy at all. So, I need to replace the windows. They're original from 1985, and they are, at this point, dangerous. I can't even open them. God forbid the house burns to the ground on the second floor, because I am doomed. So, I have a couple of real estate agent friends who live in Barnstable, and they suggested Dennis. I guess he's reputable, done some good work. So he asked me what I wanted, and I drove around the neighborhood, looked at some homes that I found attractive. And on Seminole Drive, there's a beautiful home that has these new construction and some black face windows. So they're kind of like the trim is black, and they look beautiful. So that's what I told him that I wanted, and here we are.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the committee?
I don't see any examples of the windows.
Correct.
Does anybody have any examples?
There's a cut sheet, as it were, but not a
But
picture
not a
of them.
picture, yeah.
Um,
I think we've seen these before
No,
anyway.
the
but-
replacement windows.
So the windows that you have, are they true divided glass, individual panes of glass?
No,
Are the muntins, the dividers in the glass, on the outside of the window as well, or are they only on the inside?
they're, when I clean them infrequently, they're on the inside.
You're right,
But
you
on
have to
the
take 'em-
outside, it's one big piece of glass.
Probably, I'm not.
Get a picture, maybe a picture's gonna help.
And so the issue I have with it, and you want to replace them with the black, is that, and if you look on, everyone here on the committee with me, if you look, the picture, the page before, the photograph of the front of the house, it states black with white 3/4-inch grill bar, stainless steel grill spacer. So these would be a black frame with a white, let's call them muntins, dividers between them.
It will be white as well. I mean,
What?
the black, sorry. It will be black,
The bars are,
it will be black as well, yes.
that's not how it reads, unless I'm misreading it. Perhaps I am. Specified equal light pattern, black with white 3/4-inch grill bar, stainless steel grill spacer, traditional between it. It would be all black? So the muntin bar, the dividing piece, would be black?
Yes.
The only thing I'd say about it is that what will happen is, without it being expressed on the outside of the building, without having them apply to the outside, they'll be hard to see, because they'll be between the glass. If you look at even the photographs we have, you know, there's, on the inside, of course, you'll see them, but on the outside, because the glass reads is very dark, if those are black, they'll effectively disappear from the view from the street, but that's up to, because I have seen windows, unfortunately, where they have the dividers, the spacers, the muntins are white. The frame of the window is a different color, but the muntins themselves are white, which looks odd, because of course you'd paint them all the same color. So if they're black, I have less of an issue with it.
Black frames and black,
Black muntins,
Yeah.
all right.
What about the shutters?
Just going to ask.
Oh, sorry.
No, you did. Are they going to remain white, is the question.
I think they would have to turn black to match.
They don't have to.
Well, I mean, kind of aesthetically
I
pleasing.
think they'd look better if they were
Yeah,
black,
That
but
would look better black,
it's
I
just-
think. I bet you don't, they don't have.
Preference, but,
Yeah, do I need to have shutters at all? I mean,
no, you don't need to have shutters at all.
I maybe would just not even have them, if that's allowed.
Up to you.
If it's up to me, then I would probably say no shutters.
Okay. Can always,
I like shutters. I think they kind of define a house, but that, it's entirely up to you.
You don't have a lot of fenestration on the front of this house, and
Yes,
the absence of shutters is going to create a lot of
empty space.
space.
I would agree that
All
they
right,
add a
then
sense
if
of
I was to-
scale.
I would have to, you didn't get that far ahead, so you're asking me a question I haven't thought about, and I'm an overthinker. So if I was to have shutters, I would say black, if that's
Okay.
allowed.
All right.
And the
That
fact
works.
that they're solid raised panel shutters is very nice. You normally see them as louvered
Yeah.
shutters, and these are much nicer looking. I think there'd be an awful lot of wall without the shutters, and I think they add to your house.
What color's your front door? Is it black?
It's red.
Yeah.
How long you
looks
been
red.
living in this house?
She never goes in her front door, right? You never use your front door.
Sober for this, come on.
It's gonna be the same muntin pattern, the same dividing pattern? 12 over 12?
No,
No, that's-
no, it's gonna be a lot less mullions than that. I like a much cleaner look than that, so we went with,
6 over 6?
2 over 2.
Oh, you want 2 over 2?
yeah, similar to this picture
That
of
changes
the
the
Friday Club.
complexion of it.
Yeah, we found the house right on 6
Yeah.
There you go.
Looking at the Friday Club.
You can show it to those
Really
guys.
liked The 2 over 2, I thought it looked very clean. So I know that's on 6A, historic.
Yeah,
building.
that's a Victorian house, yes.
I liked that look, very clean, and then with the shutters, you're right, it'll probably be
So I thought you were talking about a divided bottom and a divided top. You're just saying a clear bottom, clear top?
No, 2 over 2, a vertical in the middle.
like a
Oh, like the
Friday
top,
Club.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
These don't look the same, but I guess I just can't see them. Okay, I see what you're saying now. Yep.
So as has been pointed out, that's a Victorian house, so 2 over 2 is perfectly appropriate for that era. Your house is, I would say, colonial revival.
Garrison Colonial, you know, yeah.
Garrison Colonial, yeah.
Salt Box Cape, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, it's only salt box if the back roof slopes down to
Which it does.
the ground.
The Garrison Salt Box.
Okay, there we go.
So 6 over 6 would be more appropriate than 2 over 2. Just thinking ahead to, you ever want to sell the house?
I don't.
You don't. That's today.
It's going to drastically modernize it. I just, I love 2 over 2 windows, and I even love 2 over 1 windows. They're really a Victorian thing. I think they're beautiful. You see them in a lot of modern houses that are trying to look a little old. And I'd say that, I'm not, your house is very colonial in its form, and especially with that overhang that makes it a Garrison. It will drastically modernize the look of it, which I think is what you're going for. But yeah, I'm just making that observation. By the way, my little etymology, not etymology lesson, but the mullions, just so you know, everyone says mullions. Mullions, everyone, even architects that should know better. Mullions connect windows, so 2 windows together are mullioned together. Muntins, M-U-N-T-I-N, divide glass. So the things, everyone says, most people say mullions, but that's actually not correct. Muntins, M-U-N-T-I-N-S, are the things that divide glass. So the muntins are the bars, the muntin bars. Just no harm, no foul, it's just, there's a little lesson in architectural
what I was just gonna
terminology
say,
for
so
those watching, the kids watching at home.
Oh, yeah.
You asked me, Richard, and they are inside. I took a look at the picture, not.
They're inside and not on the outside. I just, the only thing I'd say is I think it's a charming, as a house of that period. You say it's the 80s?
85.
Yeah, it looks like a house. It's very nicely proportioned. It has a nice sense of scale to it.
I'm doing my best, but.
And it's a lovely house. I just would, it drastically modernizes it in a way. And again, with windows I love, I don't know that it's appropriate for it, but I don't know what everyone,
So it's.
Well,
I mean, she really wants them as her home.
Mitigating component of this application is you're at the end of a cul-de-sac.
Right, I'm at the end of a cul-de-sac. I'm the only house in the cul-de-sac.
So,
Nobody sees me. As a matter of fact, when someone comes on the cul-de-sac, I get a little frightened.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are they driving
I
on the
think-
cul-de-sac?
That's germane,
Yeah, it's germane.
this discussion.
I just hope you're happy with it, because again, I love them, but on a Victorian, it looks one way, on a more colonial, which is very much, early colonial form with that garrison hanging over it, that overhang, it might look a little, it'll be a real modernization of it, but in this
So,
case, yeah.
Any other comments or questions from the committee?
I'm okay with
Are there any abutters or other interested members of the public who would like to comment or ask questions? Not hearing none.
Okay, I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye.
Excellent.
So the shutters are your decision.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll tell you, you might, with this modern look with the 2/2, you might very well choose not to have shutters on it. So you might want to see that. It might look better without them. So, but it's your choice.
So,
Come away.
All right, right, exactly.
so all you have to do is sign this document, which, as I've said, in case if you're going to make any changes, if you change your mind about anything, you'll let us know. Okay. Good luck with it.
Good luck.
Good.
That's always a nice
You
place to
can or
go.
I can, either one. I happen to know what day this is.
Thank
you. No, that's Gemini. Yeah.
Have a good night.
You got another one?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, one more.
You can't quit us.
Just one more. Be easier than that.
Oh, don't set us up.
Mr. Chairman, before you start, just want to say, this came to me, for the record, everyone, I've spoken to this before, I do exemptions and amendments, which come before us as a committee for those folks, just to know, when oftentimes you'll see things happening out there, and these folks haven't been before us. That's not necessarily true. Some people do things without doing the process, but most people, if they can, try to do an amendment or an exemption. This came before me as exemption. Given its prominence on the street, this next application, I felt it should be seen by the whole committee. I didn't think it was really my place to decide. It's in such a prominent location.
Okay. So that statement was with reference to the next application, which is 23-A070. It's to replace windows at 209 Route 6A. Ian Sherwood is the owner, and Dennis Orlov. Bell Cape Construction is the agent. Still here. Okay. So tell us about this.
Well, we're changing, same thing, we're changing old windows to new ones, and we're just doing exactly
So
same.
these are 2/2,
The
and are you going to
2/2.
keep those?
Keep the same way, same design, new windows.
There are 2/2s, there are 6/6s.
On the side.
There's a bunch of different,
they're
are
all-
they 2/2? They're 4/4.
4/4, yeah.
You're looking at the,
Four
if you're
over
looking
four?
at the picture, there's storm windows on top of that, existing windows, so that's why I get confusing a little bit.
On the back dormer?
Yeah, like if you look at the.
Oh, am I looking at like a triple track
Yeah, see,
storm
like,
window?
see this? Yeah, so this is, just because the window is kind of opened, and this one.
Okay, this is like here.
That, if you open it halfway, it becomes
Yeah,
4/4.
yes.
Here, it's right, it's like perfectly positioned. And, but these on the back,
They're the same way,
those are 6/6.
yes,
Okay.
but that's the back of the house. They would like
Yeah, those
to
are,
change everything to
So are these historic windows?
Anderson A-series.
No, the ones that you're replacing. Are they true divided light, historic windows?
I'm not sure, I don't think so.
You have no sense of the age of the windows?
That's very important to us. Because if these are in fact Victorian 2/2 true divided light windows, I would not be comfortable making a decision tonight without knowing that. Because if the idea is to remove 19th century 2/2 windows with any kind of modern window, certainly not one with between glass muntins.
It's not between the glass, it's gonna be
Gonna
true
be-
divided.
True divided,
Divided.
outside, inside, well,
Inside,
that's
inside.
great, but are they historic windows?
How old is
Are
the
they-
building?
1840.
40 according to the application.
Put it this way, if I broke one of those 2/2 panes, would you have to replace the sash, or would you be able to replace the glass? Is there glazing compound on the outside of the house?
That's a toughie.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that.
You really
Do you
can't,
have a close-up photograph of it? I suspect these are Victorian period. In 1840, it probably wouldn't have been, but, you know, again, people always wanted more light, so as glass became cheaper, they would replace their windows with Victorian windows often.
The interior picture, I don't know if you can,
I could probably tell from an interior photograph.
it's kind of behind the curtains.
Everybody does that, Dennis.
That's,
It's part of the plan.
I can't, Bob, I can't really tell. My instinct,
it looks like, it doesn't look like they are.
well, this is that storm, so ignore that, it's the vertical here.
How to tell?
I can't tell, Bob, I mean, I can't tell.
No.
I can barely see this.
How long have the homeowners
Do you
been
have
there?
any good exterior photographs of it?
Yes, it's on
All right, I can, if you, I don't want to scroll through your phone, if you'd show me.
Have they been there a long
be able to
time?
tell.
Like, are they,
Tell you.
Not sure.
I'd love to,
I
can
know
you,
they're building an addition on the back of the house, and they use the same Emerson A-series.
Yeah.
And actually 6/6.
Yeah, right.
So the thing is, which will come as no surprise to you, 6A is the Old Kings Highway. It's the most sensitive artery in the historic district. So we're very keenly aware of houses that are on 6A. And we're very cognizant of historic features. I think it would be a good idea for us to make an assessment of these windows.
I agree with
An
you.
on-site
In
assessment of
person,
these
yeah.
windows, to see whether they are
Original.
original or historic, meaning 19th century windows.
here's the thing, in point of explanation, just so, with people watching that might not know. So, we just had an application for window replacement, and she wanted to put 2/2 windows on a 1985 house, which isn't considered a historic property, doesn't have historic windows, even antique windows, 100 years old, but, and is on a cul-de-sac in a modern, effectively modern neighborhood. This house is very prominent, you know, with the town well is in front of it. And it's at a very important intersection. So, and on 6A, you know, arguably it's more important, you could say to the houses next to it as you go down, simply because you see it. I mean, you're going west, you're looking right at it. I mean, it's in a really prominent location. So, once something like this is lost forever. And if they're historic windows, if they're 19th century windows, your intention to replace them with true divided light, as we define that in a modern sense, with it on the outside, is the right one. But if they're historic windows, then really we should say, no, you restore the windows, which would quite frankly be cheaper.
Yeah.
If they're failing, and they have storms on them, so that, although no one really likes the look of storm windows, it preserves and protects the historic resource, which is the historic window. So I would have to see. My gut instinct is that they are historic windows, because if these windows haven't been replaced anytime in the last 30 years, there is no way they would have replaced them with 2/2s, because it's a Victorian thing, and it didn't become popular as a thing to do like this lady before us wanted to do. Really, in the last 20, 30 years, when 2/2s became something architects were doing in a modern iteration of historic, ideas of things which had a little modern take on it. But my gut is that these are Victorian windows, in which case they should be restored rather than replaced, which would be cheaper for the owner, quite frankly.
Cheaper, and there's another factor involved here, which I've said a number of times since I've been sitting on this committee, which is there's a reason why these, assuming that these are 150-year-old or older windows, there's a reason why they're still there. Because, as any carpenter will tell you, you can't buy the same wood that, this old-growth timber doesn't exist anymore, and you can't get good wood. And my carpenter just complains to me all the time about how he can't get good wood. So it would be a shame to lose the windows if they are antique windows, 150 years more or less old. So my own feeling, and I think it's the sense of this committee, that it would be worth investigating. It may be that they're not antique windows.
In which case, what you want to do would be, for me, great. The fact that you want to put, if you've ever listened to me here, I hate vinyl windows and I hate windows with munches between glass. So what you want to do is, in theory, wonderful to me, but not if they're historic. The problem is, their problem is that they have such an important house in its location. And I know people have in the past criticized us for being seemingly arbitrary in our decisions, but what it is, what the thing is, where it is, are all very important. So one approval might, go ahead, please.
Just got a text from the homeowner.
Yes.
I guess he's watching maybe. He says, our windows were replaced in 80s by the former owner, Mr. Cadman.
I say it again now?
So he says, our windows were replaced in the 80s by the former owner, Mr. Cadman, Cadman.
Well, that,
Do we want to rely on that? That's,
he's watching, does he want to say something?
Is
How about-
he online?
Not sure.
Could he do, how about
Yes,
this?
maybe.
Because we're here.
Sure would.
Could he text you a photograph of, with the curtains gone, a close-up of one of the windows? That would be helpful, because that will tell us, quite frankly.
and in the meantime, let me ask if there are any comments from abutters or other interested members of the party.
Remove the curtains aside.
And then I would suggest that we want to table this to the end of the meeting.
Yes, I move we table item 23-A070 to the end of the meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So-
So this will give you time to do your investigation, and
What do I have?
Oh, an hour,
Four more applications.
I'm taking
Five
a
more.
terribly long time, but yeah, so.
at least an
If you
hour.
could do, if you move the curtains, take a couple of photographs, and ideally,
remember
if you
there's
could
no-
step outside, I don't know if it's
No
8
what?
now, it's too
No
dark.
reception here.
Oh,
Oh, all right.
How
Well,
did
step
he ta-
outside, you have time. We won't set you
Thank you.
outside. Thank you very much.
so, put that aside.
Mark.
Okay, the next application is 23-A071. It's to replace 2 entry doors and a storm door at 31 Eileen Street. Marcia Wetherill is the owner, and Southern New England Windows is the agent. And do we have Marcia or a representative for Southern New England Windows present this evening?
Yes, my name is Seth Grizzy. I'm the representative for Removal by Anderson, Southern New England.
Oh,
Okay. So, tell us about the application.
So they're going to be changing out their side entrance, which faces Eileen Street. The main entrance faces Halyard, and we're not changing that one out. And there's a back door that's kind of a U-shaped porch area on the back of the house, which cannot be seen from Halyard or Eileen. And that door in the back is being changed out, and again, the side door facing Eileen Street is being replaced. The back door will be different from what it currently is, but again, that can't be seen from the street. The one that can be seen from Eileen Street, the door is going to remain red. There will be red muttons in the door that will be added to it, and the storm door will be changed from white to the mountainberry red, which matches the window shutters and the current color of the entry door.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the committee?
Fine with it.
Did I have that one?
Is this primarily an aesthetic consideration or a practical consideration for these replacements?
Practical. There's rot around both doors.
Okay.
It's time for them to be changed out. And like I said, she basically added the muttons in the door again that can be seen from the street, and just changed the color of the storm from white to the red to match.
Okay. Any questions from the committee or comments?
I'm not seeing the application. I don't know if, do you have it? Is it right here? I don't think I have that in my packet. Let me just take a quick look. That's not it.
Any questions from abutters or other interested members of the public?
Oh, no, I did have this. I don't know. It must be on the counter. I did review that.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve item 23-A071, Southern New England with the storm doors, 2 entry doors and a storm.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You don't need that.
The next item on the agenda is 23-A072, Avalayo, I'm going to, thank you. Ninoff is the owner. I wasn't going to get that right, no matter how hard I tried. Skyline Solar is the agent. It's to install solar panels on the rear roof at 26 Stony Hill Drive,
That's correct.
and you are the owner.
I am the owner. I bought a house.
Tell me your name again?
Ivilo.
Thank you.
Everybody call me Eve anyways, because
like
they
that.
can't really pronounce the name. Ivilo.
Vilo.
Okay. So,
Ivilo has big dogs.
You know about that, right?
yeah.
Okay.
They were cool, though. I didn't get out of my car.
Hey, you know, if you give a food to a dog, he's gonna remember all his life. If you give a food to a human
over
being, you
tomorrow.
don't know what's gonna happen next.
I like that, yes.
But that's the reality.
Right, it is a
As
reality.
far as you treat them right, and they have respect for everybody, all good.
What is the black one? What,
Cane Corso.
what?
Cane Corso,
Canna Corso?
yeah, that's the breed.
Oh, looked like it was a mix of two things. It's kind
No.
of got like the beard and yet,
No, it's Cane Corso, has, so the paperwork basically came from the Balkans, from Serbia,
okay.
yeah.
Meanwhile, I had a 12-pound poodle in my lap. Poodle mix, a schnoodle.
To be honest, one of the reasons that I have them is because they're service dogs. Because
Ah.
my wife, she has a son, it's not my son, but I treat him like my son. He's a handicap.
Oh,
So whenever he goes out, they goes out with him.
oh. Wow. Cool.
So that's one of the reasons.
Well, I have
So-
certainly taken this in a different direction. than we should
Yes,
be.
I was gonna,
Talk about
I
source.
want a motion to approve the service dogs.
Second.
all right. Moving around
All
from
in favor.
canine considerations. Are there any other questions or comments from the committee? Any questions or comments from abutters or other interested members of the party? Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve item 23-A072,
Is there a
solar
se-
panels on the rear of his roof.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And aye.
Thank you so much.
You?
I'm
You just
signing.
signed this
To you.
in case you decide to put them on the front of the house or something else?
For 1 year.
Really?
Really?
1 year.
It took 1 year for them to do it for you?
All the things going on.
Huh.
1 year.
They blame it on
Now,
COVID,
they're
I
going
bet.
to pay you to turn your lights on?
That's the thing, like, I already paid him, and when he flew out somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and everybody say, it's not my fault, it's not my fault, it's not
Yeah,
my fault,
we're-
it's not my fault, we're waiting for it.
Ugh.
Good luck to you with it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Should I get this?
You're all set?
You're done.
Okay.
No, this is up between us. Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Ivana.
Thank you, good luck.
I'll email you the paperwork.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
So,
Can't even write.
really?
It's bad enough as it is.
What do you do to treat it?
You gotta just put ice on it.
Sir?
The next item on the agenda is to install solar panels on the rear roof at 7 Francis Helen Road. Is it Jaime or is it Jamie? Franklin is the owner, Skyline Solar is the agent. And who do we have this evening?
Francesco?
One's raised their hand there, is that
Yep.
correct?
Looks like
Hi,
Francesco.
hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, yeah, I'm here on behalf of the homeowner, Jamie Franklin. We actually met back in February, I believe, and because we had originally put solar panels on the front of the house, and that just, it didn't fly with the committee. So we had, since we went the project went back to design and we had the panels on the front of the house removed.
And now they're on
for
the
new
rear.
design. Yeah, they were always on the rear, but we had to take the ones off the front of the house.
Right.
So the ones on the rear are semi-visible from the dead-end street. Let me get you the name of
Margaret
the street.
Joseph?
Yes. And, but there are a whole bunch of trees on the border of the road there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious. I almost think it would be better. I know people think we hate solar panels, which isn't true. Why didn't you just complete the array on the backside with 4 additional ones on the far, well, as you look at the drawing at the far right? Is just no need for it?
I'm not sure what you're.
If you look at the plan on the far right, there are 4 at the top towards the bridge.
Yeah, we maxed out the rear
Yeah,
roof.
I don't see where they can put any more.
Yeah,
You're
the rear
working
roof is
it-
completely maxed out.
So the skylights will remain? You're working around the skylights?
This,
To the left of the
oh,
dormer?
yes, those skylights will remain, yes.
Okay.
Nothing, yeah, it's just the panels
Oh,
on the
I'm
rear
looking
side,
at the wrong one.
nothing else changes.
No.
Okay, I was getting really confused.
I'm looking, you know what, I'll be honest with you. I already saw, I looked at the application and said, oh, okay, I know that one, and I turned it over, and then I was looking at the next one. No, you didn't max it out, I get it.
Okay.
And I would just say thank you, and it is a very small installation, it's not gonna provide a lot of power, but thank you for coming back with a revised design.
You could get more if you could get rid of the skylights. Just saying.
Yeah.
It'd be a nice symmetrical array.
Yeah, I don't think.
That's a
the
homeowner
was interested
consideration,
in
I
that,
guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
By the way, sorry, side note, did the last guy that was on there, did he say that it took him a year?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. That's the same for this project. I work as the sales team for a different company, Nexus Power, but Skyline is our installer, so I'm here on behalf of them.
Gotcha.
And same deal with this project, 1 year.
okay, don't use skyline.
So, any other questions from the committee? Any questions from abutters or other interested members of the public? Do I hear a motion?
I
I move,
Go ahead.
I move to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And aye. Congratulations.
Does the homeowner need to pick up any paperwork, or are we just good to go?
I'll email you and the homeowner the paperwork tomorrow.
Okay. Do you have my email address?
If it's on the application, then yes, I do.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. You have Skyline's email address. That works too.
Okay, yes.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Now you see what I was saying?
You?
Welcome. Now you can see what I was referring to. I had gotten ahead of myself.
The next item on the agenda is 23-A074 to install solar panels on the rear roof at 12 Helmsman Drive. Christopher Carr is the owner, and Skyline Solar LLC is the agent. Looks like we may have Christopher here this evening.
Hellsman Drive is a big,
Popular.
is a happening place.
All right, tell us.
Do those too.
I don't know if you have any photos. I just, oh, you do? Okay. Well, we're moving forward with the solar because of environmental issues and such, so it's all in the back of the house. I did bring photographs. It's a circle there, and so from each side and from the backyard, all of the neighbors except for one, and I'm not even sure they have a clear shot, but we're above them, and I don't even think that from their deck or their backyard they can see anything. And we are putting, I think the entire upper portion is gonna have panels, and the area with the solar panel, the skylight is, I believe that they are putting them in there.
So, Mr. Carr, the thing I said the last time where I had already said, okay, I approved that application, I had put it here. So I was looking at yours. I'm just curious why, and I have a photograph, your photograph's there, being that you're putting it, you have those 4 on the far right.
Yes.
And then there's below it, it's actually not as symmetrical. There's a place for 4 more panels that matches the rest of it. I'm just curious why you wouldn't want that added power if, you're in for a penny, in for a pound.
We're not purchasing them, and when you go through the lease process,
So this is a lease.
right, this is I don't know, probably a 100-year lease. No, I think it's a 25-year lease. So what they do is they come in and they calculate the kilowatts that you're gonna use on an annual basis. And in this house, it's a little under 7,500, and the kilowatts that they're projecting will be about 8,500.
So you don't need those additional 4.
Exactly, and this is the second one I've done. So the first one we did, we had 50 panels, and we're producing almost twice the amount of kilowatts that this one is, but it's a bigger house and such. That one, by the way, has taken a year, because Eversource started to reevaluate putting 50 panels on it. I don't know how they came up with an environmental impact study on all of those applications with 50 panels or more. So it's changed the dynamics of it, but this one is a smaller project.
It's actually not the environmental impact, it's the interconnection
Connection.
impact, yeah.
Which is interesting.
Well,
So
no,
Liz, if I could pick your brain,
yes.
why wouldn't it be, for Eversource, even though he's leasing them, because I think it'd actually look better with the whole roof done with them, it would be totally symmetrical, why wouldn't they,
Meaning the leasing company?
leasing company, want to put on those additional 4?
Because it does add cost. It definitely, those solar panels are where the greatest cost is, so it's
the
expensive to
power-
add a panel. Every panel is,
It also increases your lease cost per month.
Oh, and you don't need it.
right.
Exactly.
Well, I didn't realize that.
Right.
Because
Because you're not a beneficiary of the additional wattage as a owner operator.
But you're paying more, but you're paying for it anyway.
On your monthly lease payment.
You've answered my question, thank you, interesting. I would think, okay.
And we do deal with Sunrun, which has a different approach. They put as many panels as they possibly can. And they just make a different deal with their homeowner.
See.
So,
That's very helpful.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? Any questions from abutters or other interested members of the party? Hearing none, of the public, hearing none. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve this application.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And aye.
Okay, Christopher?
So if you would just be kind enough to sign this thing, if you have a change of heart in any way, to please let us know. Thank you.
Perfect.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, good luck.
Have a good evening.
You as well.
The next application is 23-A075. It's to install 12 solar panels on the rear roofs at 22 Winter Street. John Beach is the owner, and I believe we have John here this evening.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, big change.
Yeah, we've tried to modify to be consistent with what you people want, and it'll afford us roughly 50% of the power, but I guess half a loaf is better than no loaf at all.
Well, thank you for your understanding, and are there any questions or comments from the committee?
I wasn't here for your initial application. No, I have no questions or comments.
Okay, and I don't see any abutters or other interested members of the public, so I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I would just make a note that, I would make a comment that, thank your neighbors for the letters of support. They're a little rubber stamped, but there were some that were really quite, they obviously really cared, so.
Yeah.
Yes, I will add parenthetically, I did not elect to read the letters into the record because they followed the previous application for our committee meeting on April 10th, and mostly appeared to be under the impression that there was an appeal taking place, which did not take place. So this is an entirely new application. I judge the letters to be, although I would agree, thoughtful, irrelevant to this application. So that was my decision. And congratulations, and if you would just sign this to say if you're going to make any changes, to please let us know.
And you're putting in a battery system, too?
No, we're not.
You're not, okay.
Thank you. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Just state on your application that you are.
Oh, we are? I didn't know.
This is Winter Street. I
Winter
have it,
Street.
yes. So just so you know, there will not be. Oh,
Okay, yeah.
it's there not. Okay. Beg your pardon. Yeah, you should know. Got it.
Madam?
I wonder if we have the phone number for our tabled
We have
Ms.
one more, though, do we not?
Yeah, we have
We
the
have
last
another
one.
application still.
I know, I was thinking we might let Mr. Orlov know that he'll be up at
So
that.
this is a gorgeous house, isn't it? This one, Pheasant Cove, with the windmill.
Oh, yeah.
Here he is, perfect.
We're almost there, sir, almost there.
Just one more.
Okay. Okay, the last item on the agenda is 23-A076, is to install 20 solar panels on the rear roof of 97 Pheasant Cove Circle. Nora Lavori is the owner, and My Generation Energy is the agent. And do we have either Nora or My Generation Energy here?
There's Abe. Speak, Abe.
Oil there.
Hello, guys. I'm calling in.
Hi,
How are you?
good.
We're good, how are you?
Good. So this is as you said, a 20-panel array on the east exposure rear face of the house, not visible from the public away. Happy to answer any questions.
Is this a return?
It is not.
Okay.
You may have dealt with this. It's essentially a redesign of the house, so there may be stuff you've seen otherwise, but this is the first for solar.
Okay. Well,
They're nicely organized.
works for me.
Thank you.
Any questions from the committee or comments? Any questions from abutters or other interested members of the public? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve item 23-A076.
And is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And aye. Congratulations.
Thanks, Abe.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
You too.
You too. Okay, so now we need to untable
I move to untable item 23-A070.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so,
Any luck?
Owner saying it's been replaced. Right. In the 80s or 70s.
No. These have pegged muntins in the stiles, in the rails and the stiles. Pegged muntins.
yeah.
These are historic windows.
Well,
Or they're incredibly well done reproduction windows.
so we should probably go look, right?
Take a look, the picture
I
says
wouldn't,
it.
I can't, I'm not a professional.
But if you look, but you should see what I mean by a peg. So the muntin that goes into there are stiles and rails. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the muntin goes into the rail, so the stiles, the vertical, and the meeting rail. They are pegged, so they're actually
Like a
mortised.
door?
They're mortised in and pegged through.
To hold
These
them
are-
in place.
These are really well-crafted windows. And the chairman just pointed out an early locking system on the window.
So we should
These are historic windows.
visit and make sure.
I would suggest that we table this application, printed on a site visit by
I'll show you. See there,
Who-
goes right in.
members of this committee,
There's,
Oh, yeah.
or more,
We saw those in the.
and make an assessment of the windows.
Yeah, okay.
If these are antique windows, it would be in the best interest of the homeowner to try to preserve them.
They have value,
Yeah.
a lot of value.
I would not be able to approve the replacement of those windows, I believe, but I'd like to assess them. This,
So table it and do a walkthrough.
Yeah.
if we may, I mean, the owner has to allow us that, do they not?
Well,
Well, let's
I think we're going
table
to
it.
table the application anyway, and hopefully,
Okay.
they will, I mean, this is an informational session. We can come and tell them what they have, and
Maybe they don't realize what they have.
Will you please send those photographs to Lisa? Here's your phone. It's a nice phone. I'm gonna-
Oh, Ian is here, so. Hi, Ian. You're muted.
Homeowner?
Yeah.
do you wish to address us, Ian?
Hi, can you hear me? I'm
Yes,
just
we
figuring out
can.
how this works.
Yep, you're right on.
Yeah, I just joined in, thank you. And yes, I allow a site visit, sure.
Okay, great.
Ian, may I ask you, why do you want to replace them?
To increase the efficiency, it's awfully cold in here in the wintertime.
Do you have storm windows?
Yeah.
Are they exterior storms, or
Yeah.
they are?
You know, I might suggest to you, again, in terms of money, first of all, in terms of value and in terms of money, these are, again, you might be thinking right now that you're cursed, but you have a really beautiful house in a really important, prominent place in the village. And to preserve those would be much better. They have interior storm panels that are much more efficient now and they're magnetic, much more efficient than those old triple track storms that you have that are really dated. That would give you're not going to get what you would get with an argon-filled window, because of course you have a frame, but they would be far more, honestly, I'd love to come see them, but you would spend less money and you would have a far more valuable product in terms of the value of your home, to anyone who might want to buy it someday, for yourself, in appearance, all of those things, to because they look like they're in very fine shape. I mean, I've only seen one window, but it looks like it's in really good shape.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I agree. We did have a few of the windows repaired, you know, but it didn't, you know, it's not, they're starting to show wear again, and they're gonna need rework. So that's kind of how we're looking, you know, long-term, obviously, and not something that we, you know, every 5 or 10 years, we're gonna have to revisit and.
Ian, I don't know if you,
money.
I don't know if you were listening when I made the observation earlier that there's a reason, if these are 150 more or less year-old windows, there's a reason why they are still there.
Exactly.
So,
Okay, right.
you know, the wood that was available at that time was far superior to what's available now. I continually hear complaints from carpenters and cabinet makers that they can't get good wood now because that old growth timber is really hard to come by. So I think it would be in your best interest, it costs you nothing for us to come and look. And my suggestion is that you contact our office administrator, Lisa, and she'll set something up.
And I will bring for you, when we do come, I will bring for you materials related to the restoration of these windows, if it is that, but also storm panels that work. Again, modern, again, we'll leave it at that for now. I won't
Okay,
belabor it.
all right. So, so the next step would be for you, in concert with Lisa, our office administrator, to set up a time when some of the members of this committee can come and look at the windows, make an assessment. We have experience along those lines. I'm an antiquarian. I've been in the antiques business for since 1974, dating myself. So I think I could probably steer you in the right direction
Can I
vis-a-vis
ask
your windows.
one question about the other windows?
Yeah.
Is there, because I know he's got,
Are they replacing
Dennis is
all of
kinda-
them? Every window in the house? Okay. 'cause
No.
this- What about the 6/6?
This is not every window.
Not every window.
Not every
It'd be
window.
helpful to know which ones they are, too.
Is there any desire to go forward with the other windows in the meantime?
Well, as long as we're going to table the application, why not have a look at all of them and advise?
Is that okay?
And,
Yeah.
you know, the fact of the matter is that we will be far more sensitive to the windows that are visible from 6A than we will be for the windows that are not visible from 6A. I can think of a comparable application that we heard a couple of years back for replacing windows in a house, antique house on 6A, and we had allowed for the replacement of the windows that were only obliquely visible from 6A, and when we had our site visit, we discovered that all the windows were period and original, and I said, we've already approved you're replacing the windows on the side, but our advice would be that you don't, because for the long-term value of your house, it's going to be better for the house, it's going to be better for you to rehab these windows if they need to be rehabbed. And so I would be loath to approve any portion of this application now, especially since we're going to, I guess you're on board with this, Ian, am I not? Am I correct?
I would still like to replace with new, but I wholeheartedly appreciate the sentiment and the reasoning. I don't have issue with that.
Yeah.
Again, I'm looking at a long-term investment for the house.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've done the heating system, we've done the roof. You know, we're really trying to, you know, do the right structural things.
Yeah.
But these windows are, I mean, my God, it is drafty in here.
Well, let's have a look, and maybe we can make some suggestions. Some have already been presented, but we could make some on-site suggestions for how you could improve your draft situation. And you know, if there's rattling from the trucks on 6A,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can help
there
with
is.
that
Noise,
too.
all that, you know, it's very noisy
All
in the
this,
corner.
all this stuff can be corrected without necessitating removing the original, if they are original. We don't know that yet. It's going to cost you nothing except a little bit of time. And if you can afford to
Sure,
wait a
I'll be
little
in
while
touch.
longer, that's what I would recommend we do.
Okay, yeah, I'll get in touch with Lisa first thing in the morning.
Okay.
I move that we table this application pending a site visit.
I think we did the second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Dennis.
So, thank you both.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, we need to approve the minutes of the May 22nd meeting.
I would think they were fine. I think there was a typo or something, so I move to approve the minutes of May 22nd.
Is there,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I don't know if, Cindy is not here this evening, so maybe we will push the Secretary of Interior Preservation Standards to the next meeting. I have nothing new to report, except that I will be representing this committee for an appeal, a sandwich appeal, tomorrow. And I will give you the details of all that when we have, when it's happened.
Can we just, is this something we,
I saw that. We never
yeah.
addressed it.
we do or don't, do we talk about it or not?
You know, so this is, okay. So we've gotten a letter regarding a previous application for 2 Cottonwood Street, which we approved. It has to do with the fence. So, to my way of thinking, this is water under the bridge. It's been approved. I don't know that,
It's not, this is not on our agenda, so I don't know if we can even discuss it.
well, I would choose not to.
Okay.
Just let that sleeping dog lie. It's not relevant anymore. Might have been at the time we were evaluating the application, but that's
It's not
mixing
on
a
our
metaphor,
agenda,
that ship
so-
has sailed.
Yeah.
So, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.